Hi, Grandma. How are you?
Pretty good for an old lady. Tell me, darling, how is everything?
I'm good, but I wanted to give you a heads up that the Washington Post has a 3,000-page article about your problematic history.
Speak louder.
Sorry, Grandma. The Washington Post learned that you used problematic terminology in 1981. It wasn't problematic then, but it is now. So they assigned 2 reporters to the story.
I don't know what you're saying.
Just think of it like a moral panic or an inquisition that's amplified because Twitter's like 98% sociopaths.
I still don't get it.
The outcome's kind of a given, but they would love a groveling apology before you are ruined.
Yeah, you have a boat?
No, I do not have a boat.
Oh, what are you doing?
Just wanted you to know that for what it's worth, I thought you were a wonderful grandma, but if I denounce you in public, it's just to make me look good to people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have a podcast like everybody else does.
Yeah, well, that's nice, darling.
You are listening to Questionable Material with Jack Helmuth and Brian Sack. This episode, cancel culture, unfortunate statue, new Batman movie, old Batman. You have no tech skills.
Video?
I can't, there's no picture. It's just a black rectangle. Is this some kind of Black Lives Matter symbol? Are you trying to show support?
Yeah, that's my way of showing that
you care.
I'm a good liberal and that I want to continue to work in the entertainment industry.
Oh, God.
Well, I guess you just can't see me. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great, Jack. How are you doing?
It's none of your business. What is the latest with you? We haven't actually spoken in a while on the podcast. We just released a sketch last week, and then the week before, we avoided opening our white mouths in public during a very dangerous time.
Well, as a racist, I didn't want to stir the pot. Because as you know,
Yep.
as Robin DiAngelo has told everybody, we're just all racists.
Yes.
Anybody with white skin is racist. And you know what's best about that logic is when you say, actually, and they go, nope, if you defend yourself, you're racist.
That's right.
It makes a lot of sense, Jack.
Your point of view is not welcome here, Brian.
Nope. And you can't defend yourself because if you do, you're a witch.
A witch?
If you say you're not a witch, you're a witch. That's how it works.
But here's the thing, though. That racist stuff is not true, but for witches, that is true. They always say that. Like right when you light them on fire and they're screaming, their skin is melting off and they're like screaming. They're not a witch.
I'm not a witch. You're like, yep, you are.
Then how are you removing your skin?
Right. Exactly. Magic.
It doesn't make sense.
Dark magic. About it. Dark magic.
Oh, man. So classic witch. So what's life like in your racist world?
You know, it's we don't have any riots out here.
Okay.
Things aren't getting smashed or graffitied or pulled down.
Okay.
There was a statue of St. Francis of Assisi that fell over, but it was because of a rotten foundation. It had nothing to do with riots.
And are you sure that wasn't like a bunch of angry Protestants like making some sort of statement?
No, it was actually me backing into it while I was trying to build a fire pit.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Everything's insane, isn't it? 2020 is a crazy, crazy, crazy year.
It is a crazy, crazy, crazy year. But just going back to your town for a minute there.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, your town does have, if I remember correctly, in the center of town, the statue of David Duke.
Yep.
That's a strange heritage for an upstate New York town. Why celebrate David Duke? Why put up a middling racist in the middle of your town square?
Well, the David Duke statue is a mistake because we thought, and I'm on the city council, the town council here, we thought David Duke was actually royalty. We thought, because we thought we were paying an homage to some kind of royalty. We thought he was the David Duke. And then, so we're like, oh, let's erect this statue. And we put up the statue. And then, somebody pointed out, they're like, do you have any idea who that guy is? And we're like, yeah, he's a noble. And they're like, no, he's a creepy Klansman.
Yeah.
And
despicable.
Yeah. And we were like, oh, well, it's so heavy. It's so incredibly heavy to move. I mean, just schlepping it there. from the foundry in Mississippi and dragging it up and then the cranes and everything, the mountain. It was just, we were like, can we just leave it? Maybe people won't notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I remember your town, though, insisting that they use an African-American owned business to move the statue up from Mississippi and bring it to your small town of New York. Is that right?
We did. We used Oprah Winfrey's company, Harpo Productions.
You used Oprah's company to haul.
Yeah, she has a trucking division.
Statue?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does ridiculous TV shows and has a trucking division. Yeah, we put it. Her company worked with us. We put it in, and that's when we realized our huge mistake. Yeah,
because you're. I mean, we joke, but I mean, you're not a racist, and your town is not racist. That's a huge mistake.
Yeah, it sends the wrong message for sure. I went out and I ordered for the street. You know how they have the light poles, that go down the street, and you 4th of July we hang American flags.
Love it.
Yeah, 2020 is so crazy. I thought, why don't we hang some good luck flags?
That's so nice.
So I looked up good luck symbols, and there's this Indian one, and I hung it, and apparently it looks just like a swastika.
What?
Yeah. People are like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, it's an Indian good luck symbol. They're like, you idiot, it's a swastika. And I was like, well, no. And I pulled it up on Google and I pointed right to it. I said, look at it. It's an ancient Indian good luck symbol. And they're like, have you read any recent history? And I said, no.
It's the exact same thing as hanging an Irish shamrock on your porch for St. Patrick's Day. It's the exact same thing.
That's what I kept saying. That was my argument. And they just shouted me down. They don't want to hear it. They don't appreciate the First Amendment. And they barked at me and deplatformed me and shamed me and shunned me and went viral and canceled me.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy. It's funny because a little bit later, we're going to talk about cancel culture. So make sure everybody stays tuned for that. Okay, so you're on the town council. How much did you guys pay Oprah's company to move the statue?
Like $470,000.
Why was it that much money to move a statue?
I'll be honest. When it's tax dollars, you don't treat it the same way you'd treat it like Jack dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's somebody else's money. So you just I'm more generous. I tip more when I go out to restaurants using the city credit card. I'm looser when it's not my cash.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, no one can expect you to live the same way.
Exactly. I'm, part of the nobility of this small town.
Huh. Wow.
I'm running the show up here.
Well, it's so funny because I've just commissioned a 2-ton statue of W.B. Du Bois to put in my front yard just to show how woke I am.
Okay.
So the neighbors know, just sort of like to signal to them that I'm very woke. Like if I just paid Jack dollars to move, because I'm also getting it manufactured in Mississippi, like probably the same guy. How much you get it shipped up? Yeah, Jack dollars. Not.
It's about, it would be like $1,250, give or take.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's within my budget. And again, you paid $470,000?
$470,000 to Harpo Productions.
There's a lot of curious choices going on. And how's your time going on your town council as a councilman?
They call me City Boy. The Interloper is another nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Face. I thought it was a Native American name, but it isn't. It's just they called me Crazy Face. They think I look crazy.
Okay.
Part of that's not having a haircut for 3 months.
No, I understand that part. What about your nickname, Racist Brian?
Yeah, Racist Brian is a nickname I don't appreciate because it suggests that I am a racist or intolerant.
Right. When any of us who knows you know you're not really smart enough to be able to be racist.
Yeah. I have a pickup truck, and in the back I mounted a flagpole. I've been flying a giant Confederate flag.
Okay.
I took that down and I put up a flag that says, "Stop calling me Racist Brian."
Why, as a Northern boy, why were you flying the Confederate flag?
Because I feel like it's somebody's heritage, and not having any heritage, I just felt like, I wanted to participate. I wanted to let people know I support their heritage. I don't know anything about it, but I want to support it.
Well, I mean, you should Google it. It's not just the Dukes of Hazzard thing. I know you want the Dukes of Hazzard car. You've been telling me that since the day I met you.
Since the day I was born.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you should Google that because there's a deeper thing going on there.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I actually just bought the Dukes of Hazzard car. I got a great deal on it. The guy said he really wanted to get rid of it, and I made him an offer, and he accepted it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
To celebrate, I know you like fireworks and stuff, and you told me someone sold you this. It's such a strange thing. It's a lucky tea that you're going to you're going to put in your front yard and set on fire.
Yeah, it's a flammable tea.
Is it uppercase T or lowercase T?
It's a lowercase T, and it's made out of extremely flammable wood.
Wow.
And the T obviously stands for terrific.
Terrific news, guys. I got my car.
Yeah, terrific news. And then I have tons of fireworks that I'm going to shoot off in the middle of the night. as kind of like to let everybody know.
Wait a minute. Are you fireworks guy?
That's funny. That's one of my other nicknames is fireworks guy. Yeah.
So you've been going around the inner cities across America setting off fireworks to let everyone know the good news about your Dukes of Hazzard car?
Yeah. I wanted everyone to celebrate with me the acquisition of the Dukes of Hazzard car, the original one from the TV series. And so I thought, what a better way to do that than to send fireworks all over the country as kind of like, wow. Hey guys, let's just celebrate. Let's take our minds off of all the craziness and celebrate my acquisition of a historical television prop.
Wow. And I'm happy for you, but I think you're confusing a lot of people.
Well, they're going to change their mind once I'm driving around town in the General Lee, which is on its way up from Mississippi, thanks to Harpo Productions.
and you said to show your support for everything that's going on in society right now. You suggested that you wanted to have your town do something with the mass transit.
Yes. We have, a bus system in town.
Yeah.
And so I thought, we should call it the identity bus.
Oh.
And so everybody has different sections that they're allowed to sit in and not allowed to sit in, depending on their race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender this and gender that.
So in other words, like each little zone on the bus is a safe space?
In its own way, yes. And because of social distancing, the bus is 483 feet long. It really can't take turns.
I bet.
So you get on the bus, you take your specific identity zone.
Okay.
And then you go somewhere in a direct line.
Okay. That makes sense. And so if I came on the bus, where would I sit?
You are kind of white.
Thank you. Yeah.
And maybe Protestant.
Yeah.
That's 14A and 15C.
What if Oprah was in town, visiting the statue that her company hauled up there for you, and she got on the bus? Where would she go?
She would get seats 33, 34, and 35, A, B, and C.
And that would be at what section of the bus? It's
in the back of the bus. It's super noisy in the front of the bus. The driver might be chatting away. The doors opening and closing. The hot air is blowing in the summer. So we have a guy who's just directs. He stands at the front of the bus and he just directs people depending on where they're supposed to sit.
Wow. And this was all you're doing. This is all your idea.
This is all my doing. Yeah.
Did the other council members approve this?
No. But I got it passed through an unused law that dates back to 1812. and they threw their hands up in the air. And that's pretty much when the racist Brian moniker, reared its ugly head.
I don't know where they get that stuff from.
Yeah. Small towns, small minds. That's my motto. And that's what I've actually been driving around in my pickup truck with the flag on the back. That's what it says now. I don't have a lot of friends here, Jack.
I would guess not. Golly. Well, good luck with country living, buddy.
There are certain things about it that are nice, and then you got people who are just jerks.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. Well, don't let the jerks get you down, pal.
I will not.
I can't think of anything you've done wrong.
Neither can I, and that's the thing that hurts so much. Everybody else, wife included, kids included, like, Dad, what is your deal? They won't even come with me now. They won't drive anywhere.
Well, they don't get it. I mean, your wife is a foreigner, and your children are, they're children and they're half foreigner. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about.
They're like, oh, Dad, I'm embarrassed to drive with this truck with a stupid flag flying. I'm like, guys, if you don't want it, then put on these white robes, cover your heads, and just stand in the back of the truck. Nobody was going to know who you are.
Yeah,
and they won't do it.
I can't reiterate enough that you're doing nothing wrong here, buddy. Thank
you, Jack. It's good to hear somebody acknowledge my goodness.
There's lots of goodness. You have a big heart.
Thank you, Jack.
So, hey, Brian.
Yes, Jack.
Big news in pop culture. I know you saw this yesterday. It was announced that Michael Keaton is likely returning to play Batman. I find that to be exciting. I always thought he was the best Batman. He was always my favorite. And you said you got a look at the script recently with some of the new like the action sequences and everything.
Yes.
And I would just love to sort of hear what, again, being such a big Michael Keaton fan,
yeah.
I'm so excited to see what they've got in store for Batman now.
So my friend Brad, the director, he gets scripts, sent to him all the time. And I saw this one.
Yeah, that's standard practice, by the way, in the business.
Yeah. And I saw the script sitting on his desk and I was like, can I take a look at this? And he wasn't there to answer. So to me, silence is consent. And so I took the script and I brought it home and I've been reading it.
Now, are you still flying your silence is consent flag at the back of your truck?
I do that on Thursdays now. I've been trying to rotate it around.
That's awesome. That's great. It makes a lot of sense. So you've read the script. You've read the new Batman script.
I have read the new Batman script.
How is it?
I think it is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited for it.
Oh, that's great. Tell us all about it.
Sure.
Now, you said, you texted me a few highlights. Hey, Jack, read the new Batman script. Crazy opening scene where Batman reveals himself to Gotham.
Yep. I remember that text.
Yeah. No, I'd love for you to follow up on that text.
Sure.
With a detailed example.
So he's basically Batman. He's in a skyscraper.
Yeah, classic.
And he's using the men's room. And it's right there in this glass, but you can't see in, right? Because of the way the glass is tinted, but he can see out over Gotham, and the urinal's kind of facing out, and he's just using the men's room. But then this supervillain called the Jiggler, he has a sonic ray, and he shoots the sonic ray and it shatters all the windows and all the skyscrapers. And sure enough, there is Batman standing there in front of a urinal in front of thousands and thousands of people who look up and point at him.
Okay. And the Jiggler did this?
The Jiggler did it, yes.
And so Batman is just standing there. Why is he standing there so long?
Well, that's the thing. Batman is a little older.
Yep.
And his prostate is the size of Catwoman's smallest cat. Buckles, and Buckles is 4 years old, so and he's standing, and so he's just having issues. It's not working. The wind is blowing in. People are laughing at him from down below. The windows are shattered, and so there's just a lot going on. As you can't. It's hard to perform in the bathroom if you've got an audience and prostate issues.
I do. Wow, it sounds like a dark opening for Batman. He's going to have a lot to overcome in this movie.
Yeah, it's like a 15-minute thing, and there's going to be a lot of cool camera work. Camera's going to come from like under the stall, over the stall, around the stall.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it's all just him trying to pee in those 15 minutes.
Pretty much.
That's rough. Okay. Hey, it's a Batman movie. Michael Keaton's back. I don't care. This is great.
Yeah.
And then you said after that, he finally just sort of gives up on peeing.
Yep.
And chases the Jiggler. So he gets in the Batmobile.
Yes.
And chases the Jiggler. What happens in that sequence?
It's not a Batmobile.
What?
It's an Oldsmobile. So he gets into the Oldsmobile, and it's like a 1987 Delta 88. And he hops in there. It's got the power assisted steering. but it's really too much. You know, the slightest little turn and the car just overreacts and the brakes overreact. It's really, you know, it's a really basic technology compared to what we know today. And he takes off after the Jiggler. But, you know, he's not willing to exceed the speed limit.
Oh, no. How's he going to catch especially in urban areas? What's the speed limit in Gotham?
The speed limit in Gotham, well, the mayor of Gotham lowered it to 25 to kind of reduce pedestrian fatalities.
Yeah.
And so
is that a scene in the movie?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oof.
That's a little side scene. So he's going 25 miles an hour, and obviously the Jiggler's getting away. But then there's a protest. It's very peaceful. They're just setting fire to buildings that blocks the street.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it blocks the street. So the Jiggler's stuck in this crowd, and the Jiggler's just sitting there, and everybody's, you know, walking by his car and chanting their slogans. And then Batman just kind of makes his way towards the Jiggler. And by the way, his goal is global fat acceptance so that everyone dies of type 2 diabetes. And the Jiggler is in front of Batman, who pulls up behind him. And then his vision's a little off, like his depth perception. So he rear ends the Jiggler, kind of rolls into the crowd, which immediately jumps on his car and pulls him out and beats the Jiggler senseless.
Oh my God.
And Batman gets out of his car and, you know, sees the mob beating up the Jiggler. And he's like, well, I guess they're doing my work. And he gets back into his car and kind of slowly makes his way around the crowd.
So he allows for mob violence to just basically take care of his enemy?
Like most mayors. Yes.
So Batman just runs away. He's just like, well, my job's done.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's a little older. The Juggler's already lying on the ground. And, you know, you got to bend over. I mean, you could throw your back out. A million things can go wrong.
So, okay. So Batman then leaves. I'm looking at your text. It says here that next he goes to some sort of fancy dinner.
It's a gala. He calls it his gala dinner.
Oh, cool. Like a classic Bruce Wayne, rich guy, fancy pants dinner.
Well, it's the Red Lobster, and they have a senior special between 4 and 6. And so he likes to get in on that because he can get like 2 clam rolls for the price of 1. But he puts on a tux, so it adds an element of class to it.
I guess so. So that's where he holds his big fancy events now for like the Wayne Foundation?
Yeah, he rolls up in his Oldsmobile and the door opens up and he steps out, but then realizes he forgot to put it in park. So the car slowly drifts forward and he has to dive back in the car and, you know, put the brakes on. And the valet's like, I'll take it from here, sir. And he kind of strolls into the Red Lobster and people taking pictures of him because he's Bruce Wayne in a tuxedo. And that's a great scene.
It sounds really good. And you said there at the dinner is where he meets his love interest for the movie. What I love a good Batman, like sexy time love interest. Tell us about the sizzle, who she is, and tell us about that.
Her name is Bertha.
Okay.
And she's just gotten over having a hysterectomy. So she kind of went to the Red Lobster to celebrate and then sees this guy walk in his tuxedo and you know, with a nice strut, looking very regal and tall. And so, you know, he catches her eye and she, at some point introduces herself.
Okay.
Just says, you know, I just wanted to say, I love your tuxedo. My name is Bertha. I just had a hysterectomy. And then, the Batman says, how do you do? And then, sits down and they start talking.
That's her. She opens with that. It's so it sounds like lazy writing where she's just spitting out her backstory.
Well, her character is unfiltered. She tells it like it is, which comes to play later in the movie.
How so?
Well, because she accidentally blurts out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And then,
okay.
Yeah. But then, Bruce basically, laughs it off and says she's got Alzheimer's and then takes her to Arkham Asylum and has her committed, even though she doesn't suffer from Alzheimer's. He's got connections. He's a billionaire. And so you just see her looking out the window as the camera kind of backs away.
That is messed up, man. What what the hell? How old is Bertha? He takes her to Arkham Asylum. How old is she?
She was 63.
And you said her husband, her first husband, that she's been married a few times. Her first husband died in the Korean War.
Yeah, he died in the Korean War. But, the funny thing is he was fighting for North Korea. Because, he was a Civil War buff and he just could not see how the North could be bad.
Oh, he just thought if you call yourself the North, you're guaranteed to win.
He said, I'm fighting for the Army of the North. I don't care. Wow, so he strolled up to North Korea and joined the army. That's a hell of a lot of backstory for what appears to be a very small character. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, wow. Very, very interesting. So Batman dumps this crazy chick who's not crazy at all off at Arkham Asylum,
right?
Pretending she has Alzheimer's.
Yep.
And then apparently there's the big set piece thing. So he finds, now that the Jiggler is gone, he finds the Joker.
Right.
The Joker is behind everything.
Yeah. And
you say it's the most epic fight scene in Bat history.
It is.
So what's the final climax of the movie?
The Batman hits him with his walking stick. Just kind of gives him a whack on the side, catches him right in the ribs, which knocks the wind out of the Joker.
Right.
Who has a displaced hip. And he's been walking with a limp for the last several years.
That's too bad.
And so and the Joker shakes his finger at Batman, says, I dare you to do that again. And wouldn't you know it, Batman whips him on the other side, catches him on the ribs on the other side.
Oh.
And the Joker just stumbles back and hits the salad bar.
Wait, they're fighting in a salad bar at the climax of this movie?
Yeah, they were at Golden Corral. Because there's a discount for anybody over 60. A lot of the movie takes place in places where you get a discount for being a senior citizen.
Well, it sounds like a really realistic portrayal, which is what I really appreciate.
No, and it's there's there are callbacks, like to get into his bat cave. He goes up to the mantle and there's an urn on the mantle, and he turns it and says Alfred. He turns it and it says Alfred, and that opens up the fireplace, and then he goes down to the bat cave. And the cool thing is we got a really good director for this.
That's great. Who?
Yeah, Joel Schumacher.
Oh, jeez.
Jack.
Yes.
There you are. Jack, you know what I like more than anything?
Like a 19-year-old Polish girl?
Those are great. But I was thinking, so not more than anything, I guess. I like a lot is reading the reviews we get.
Yes. And
it makes, kind of makes me, you do this stuff, you put it out there and you're like, I hope people like it. And then they like it. You get, texts from people and things like that. And so I was looking at some of the reviews, and can I just read them to you? These are great. They're making me very happy.
And these are our reviews.
Yeah. Ready?
Okay. Yeah, please. Please. Yes.
One of the most entertaining podcasts I have had the pleasure of downloading. Brian Sack makes me laugh like no one else.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice. That's a really nice review.
Very nice. I love Questionable Material, Brian Sack's hilarious podcast. It's very clever and very entertaining. Like, thank you.
Yeah. No, I know we work really hard on that. So that means a lot that to have our work resonate with people.
Yeah. Here's one. When people ask me to recommend a funny podcast, I always tell them it's the one Brian Sack is doing, which is called Questionable Material with Brian Sack. And I think there's another name, but it's not significant enough to remember. It's because it's long, I guess, is what they mean.
Well, literally, my name is one letter shorter than your name.
Huh. Questionable Material is a brilliantly funny podcast. I love Brian Sack and especially Jack Benny, who is not part of the podcast, but was a very funny person in his day. He's dead now, sadly, and there haven't been any entertaining Jacks ever since. Huh.
That's so specific. That person, that can't be a mistake.
That
someone is trolling me.
No, I think they're just being honest.
Well, honesty can be trolling. Like, you don't say negative things if you don't like my contributions to the podcast. Fine, you can have shitty taste if you want, but like, don't say it out loud.
There are more. Don't worry.
Okay.
I have to admit, I get very excited when I see there is a new episode of Questionable Material. I can't wait to hear the funny banter between Brian Sack and other people.
All right. I'm getting there. That's an acknowledgement.
Oh, here you go. Questionable Material has two of my favorite podcasters, Brian Sack and also Andrew Heaton was on it.
Well, Heaton is great. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
like, there's like a fifth president who like almost made Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that one.
If I had to pick my top three podcasts, I'd say number one is Joe Rogan, obviously, because it's the most popular. And number two would be my mom's podcast because she gave birth to me. So there's a sense of obligation. But a definite number three is Questionable Material with Brian Sack and Jack Helmuth, who I think is his sound engineer or roadie. He doesn't talk much.
That sounds like that Batman movie. That's a lot of backstory on that one.
These are really, these are uplift. This makes you feel good, doesn't it? It makes you feel like, Feedback.
Really.
Feedback is good.
Feedback is good, but is there one that's like sort of positive about like my contribution?
Let me take a look. Sure. Nope.
Yeah, but well, can we? I don't want this. This is humiliating.
You know
Can we
what?
not put this in the show.
People are welcome. Yeah, I'll take it out if you want as a courtesy.
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's our show. I'd like to not be made to look the fool.
I don't think you look the fool. I think feedback is a good thing, and we welcome reviews, especially positive reviews like that.
Well, it'd be great if people could go out and please maybe post some Jack-centric reviews.
I will take that out.
Are you following all of this cancel culture that's going on out there right now?
Yes, I am aware of the cancel culture that is going on out there, and it's crazy pants.
It is crazy pants, and there have been a few in the last couple months. I mean, there's been one almost every. All of a sudden, find themselves with a lot of time to just go back and try and find flaws with people, things that people said or did or thought 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago.
Yep.
And so we've seen it. Jimmy Fallon, the hashtag cancel Jimmy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was trending about a month ago because he did blackface back on Saturday Night Live 20 years ago.
So did Jimmy Kimmel,
So did Jimmy Kimmel, who is trending today.
Oh, great.
When we recorded this podcast to cancel him because he said the N-word in a rap sketch parody in 1996, which is, for those of you not good at math, 24 years ago.
Jesus.
So that is trend. That was the big scandal last night.
Brother.
And all that is true. So now, cancel Jimmy. So it's really every day there's a new cancel person. And so I'm seeing all these other people that are trending now. And I was wondering if you could tell us why they're being canceled.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, thanks. So I know you know a lot about this culture and this sort of mindset. Because, you share all those beliefs.
Yeah, I'd like to cancel people.
No, that's great. It's a really productive thing to do with your time.
Yes.
So there's cancel hashtag cancel Jimmy for the third time, but it's cancel Jimmy Buffett.
Right.
What? Why? What happened?
Well,
what did he do once?
Well, if you listen to the lyrics of Wasting Away Again in Margaritaville.
Yeah, it's a great song.
No, it's an insult to alcoholic anorexics.
What? Why?
Wasting Away, Margaritaville.
Oh.
Alcoholic anorexics everywhere should be upset.
And so they sort of formed a mob to cancel Jimmy Buffett?
It's only 4 of them, but they're extremely vocal. And that's what it takes. You only need 4 people. You get very, very vocal, and then you go on a medium that journalists turn to because they're lazy, and they say, "Oh my God, the whole country thinks this way."
Oh yeah. So the whole country wants to cancel Jimmy Buffett.
Now they do, yeah.
Jeez.
They just piled on.
So does that group? What did they get together for, like a dinner and make these decisions?
Well, they're alcoholic anorexics, so they meet up in bars. But bars that don't have finger foods.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Well, so Jimmy Buffett being America is super angry at him, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's one. Cancel the state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
What did Hawaii do? You can't cancel a state.
Well, you can if you try hard enough.
What did they do wrong?
Good question. As you know, Don Ho came from Hawaii.
Yeah, it's a icon, a Hawaiian legend.
Yeah. Also demeaning to women.
What? No, that's not that type of ho. It's just a last name.
No, it was Don Ho, like he's a mafia figure of hoes.
I don't think that someone may have just created a website and made that up.
That may very well be the case, but that is what everybody's run with now, Jack, and he has to go, and so does Hawaii.
But why punish Hawaii for Don Ho disrespecting women?
Collective guilt, Jack.
It doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. That's a weird reason to cancel someone. I don't really get it. Okay, so I'm seeing this trending. Hashtag cancel Sesame Street. That is, if ever there was a TV show that was about inclusion and the positive benefits of speaking to children and talking about your emotions, and what a beautiful show. Why are we canceling Sesame Street?
It maintains power structures that are unacceptable now.
What power structure?
I mean, you have a general store, which is obviously promoting the fallacy of capitalism. And I would hope anybody who, sees that and would tweet on their iPhones about how bad capitalism is.
That's a heck of a jump just from Mr. Hooper's store.
It glorifies homelessness. Oscar the Grouch, who should be given housing and not living in a trash can, for one.
But he's so happy there.
Snuffleupagus.
Okay.
Is obviously transphobic.
What?
Yeah.
How is he transphobic?
Because he had said that maybe 3-year-olds shouldn't take medication that changes their bodies.
That's a weird episode of Sesame Street.
Yeah, it was a really uncomfortable episode to watch.
Well, geez, I'm not even going to weigh in on that viewpoint. That's just a weird.
Yeah.
Maybe they should. I'm not sure cancel Sesame Street, but maybe they should rework things.
Well, what they want to do is they want to replace it with a show where the street has been taken over. They take it over and they want to call it the SSAA.
What does the SSAA stand for?
Sesame Street Autonomous Area. So,
what goes on in the SSAA?
Well, a bunch of puppets would put barricades, at the end of the street. And then the SSAA would have a self-policing police force. And they would deal with any kind of crimes and things with, on their own. Police would not be welcome. In fact, they would say no pigs on either side of the street. Big barriers. And
some of the characters on Sesame Street are probably pigs.
Well, Miss Piggy.
So she's just scooped up into this? She can't go there?
Oh, yeah. She's out.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
The grocery will be based on your needs. So the price varies depending on your income. Obviously, Bert and Ernie as 2 heterosexual males will have to pay more. Whereas, Gonzo is a bit of a rebel. Is a bit of a rebel and is dressed in black fatigues and will get a discount.
So Gonzo, who's like balls deep in a chicken, he is the new normal.
Yes.
That's strange.
Yep.
Okay, the Sesame Street autonomous area.
Yeah.
And so are humans allowed in there?
If they obey the rules.
Okay, but it seems like a little bit. Are there areas where humans can't go? Because that seems like a little.
Yeah, they block off.
A little racist.
In the interest of being anti-racist, they block off areas and prevent the humans from going there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's a great anti-racist message.
It's a convoluted logic, but it's a logic nonetheless. If you study postmodernism.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
that's a thinker.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a heck of a complicated hashtag for cancel Sesame Street.
It really is.
What's last question about that? What's it like at night in the Sesame Street Autonomous Zone?
Well, every night's a celebration.
Oh,
of fireworks nice. and more fireworks. And so what people will do is they'll fire off a couple of rockets, and then that will excite other people. Be like, oh, you thought those were good. Check out these. And then they'll send up theirs, and other people are like, those are great. I want to show you how much I appreciate your rockets with my rockets. And it's just like a whole night full of rockets.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Except for, the dogs in the neighborhood are going ballistic.
Last one. Sometimes I think this cancel culture's gone too far. All those others made sense, but cancel the NAACP?
Oh my God, yes.
Why? Why?
National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Jack.
Oh.
Completely archaic and offensive. That's got to go. It will be replaced by the NAAPOC.
Okay. Yeah. That I guess makes the most sense of all of them.
But there's not a lot we can do about the United Negro College Fund.
Why not?
That's just, they're done.
But they do so much good work.
Not anymore. Not when they're canceled, Jack. For racism.
Oh, that's a shame. People should maybe research what they cancel. It's so funny to watch like the tweets pile up when one of these things happen, and just people instinctively just before reading anything, you can tell they just immediately hashtag cancel whoever it is.
Right. They're a bunch of winners.
Well, you know what? When they're tweeting, we're all winners.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Jack. That was questionable material. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to review the podcast. Make sure to visit qmpodcast.com for episodes, show notes, and bonus material.